80 Polaroids. 20 of them showed two strangers nobody could name. The morning after Wilder's birthday, 6 friends went through every photograph Tyler had taken the night before. Most of them were exactly what you'd expect. Friends dancing around a fire, catching fish, laughing at nothing in particular. Then Tyler flipped one over and the whole trip stopped making sense. 2 strangers, grinning, holding Wilder like a baby. In another, the woman was dancing with Chloe. In another, the man was leaning in to talk to the narrator like they were old friends, like they'd been there the whole night. Nobody remembered them. Nobody could explain them. And those photographs were not the last thing Tyler found. 6 friends drove 8 hours from Boise to the Hoh River in Olympic National Park. It was Wilder's 22nd birthday, a trip he'd been planning for almost a year. Hiking, fishing, a mushroom trip in one of the most remote forests in the lower 48 states. Tyler brought 8 cameras. He wanted to document the whole thing like a film. Breath. These were not careless people. They were not the kind of group that forgets an entire conversation, let alone 2 strangers at their campfire. Breath. But 6 people, including one who was completely sober the entire night, have no memory of the couple in those photographs. Not a name, not a word, not a face they can place. Breath. The narrator has been sitting on this story for months. His friends have moved on. They think it's funny now, a wild birthday, a strong batch, a campfire somebody wandered into. But then yesterday, Tyler texted him. Said he'd been going through the trip footage and found something. Wouldn't say what over text. Needed to show him in person. Breath. This is everything that happened before that meeting. They found the campsite almost by accident. Wilder was driving when he just stopped, pointed at a gap in the tree line that barely looked wide enough for a truck. Nobody else even considered it. He squeezed through anyway, scraped the paint, and came out the other end to a clearing 50 yards from the river. He climbed out and yelled something like, "It's perfect." Breath. The next 3 days were exactly that. 3 days in, they set up for Wilder's birthday. The girls decorated camp before sunrise. A donut with a joint through the middle waited outside his tent. They went through 2 bottles of champagne before breakfast. The afternoon on the river, Tyler's drone catching all of it from above, catching shots they all knew were going to be something. Breath. Then the sun went down, and they took the mushrooms. 5 grams each for the 4 boys. Wilder went first. Chloe, the narrator's girlfriend, started at 1.5 grams. Emily, Wilder's girlfriend, didn't take any. She never did. She kept her phone while everyone else put theirs away. She was on parent duty. She was the one who would remember. The next few hours were what they were supposed to be. Stomach-hurting laughter, colors shifting and breathing at the edges. Sam had built a playlist specifically for the night, every song placed deliberately. They danced around the fire without trying to look like anything. They wandered down to the river and lay on blankets while Dark Side of the Moon played. The narrator says it was the kind of moment you know is special while you're still in it. Breath. At 12:30 in the morning, Emily said goodnight, wished Wilder a final happy birthday, and walked to her tent. Here's where it gets strange. The narrator remembers the sun coming up. He remembers deciding it was time to sleep. His memory of the night is imperfect in the way any night like that would be. But it is not absent. He and his friends have done this probably 20 times across a decade. He has been drunker, higher, and come home with a near-perfect account of every person he met. He has never lost people. Breath. He does not remember 2 strangers at his campfire. But there they are in the photographs. A couple, maybe in their 30s, in about 20 of the 80 Polaroids, scattered through the stack with no way to put them in chronological order. There's one of the woman dancing with Chloe, both of them mid-law, completely at ease. One of the man leaning in close to the narrator like they're deep in a conversation. One of the couple holding Wilder between them, all three of them grinning. Everyone looks comfortable. Everyone looks like they've known each other for hours. Here's what nobody could explain. Chloe had taken a fraction of what the boys took. She barely drank. She is not someone who loses hours. She looked at those photographs like she was staring at pictures of people who shouldn't exist. Breath. Everyone did. Every single person in the group went through the same sequence: confusion, disbelief, and then a slow retreat into the comfortable answer. You were messed up. Strangers wander into campfires. You just don't remember it. That's the version most of them settled into. Breath. But that detail about Emily matters. She went to bed at 12:30. The couple appears in none of the photos that include her, which means they arrived after midnight, after the one person in the group who was completely sober had already walked away, after the one person who would have caught a name, remembered a face, thought to actually look at them was already asleep in her tent. You might call that a coincidence. The narrator thought so too. He sat on this story for months, started to convince himself everyone else was right, almost didn't post it at all. Breath. Then Tyler texted. The narrator doesn't know yet what Tyler found. He wrote this the night before their meeting, after months of second-guessing himself, after watching his friends laugh it off one too many times. Maybe the footage is simple. Two strangers walk into frame sometime after midnight, stay for a few hours, disappear back into the trees before sunrise. A boring explanation. Maybe Tyler just caught a moment neither of them had noticed. Breath. Or maybe there's something in those frames that doesn't line up. Something at the edge of the light. Something about the way those two people stood, or moved, or first appeared, that a Polaroid can't quite capture the way video can. Breath. The Hoh River is one of the most remote places in the continental United States. Dense old growth in every direction. The campsite was invisible from any trail. Whoever those two people were, they found a gap in the tree line that Wilder almost missed while actively looking for it, and walked right in the middle of the night, and they were gone before anyone woke up, without a single word anyone can remember. Maybe they were just friendly strangers passing through. It happens. But 6 people, one of them completely sober, shared a campfire with 2 strangers for what had to be hours, and not one of them can tell you a thing about who those people were. Breath. If you want more stories that don't resolve cleanly, where the reasonable explanation only makes it worse, Audible has a library full of them. Get 30 days free at audible.com free trial. Some of the titles in there will make tonight's video feel like warm up. Subscribe so you catch the follow-up when Tyler shows what he found. Save this video so you don't miss it when it drops. And leave your theory in the comments. What do you think was in that footage?